Dear students, in this video we shall prove some of the propositions related to Euclidean domain. So next, first it is a proposition number 8. First we shall see what is the statement of proposition. Let R be a Euclidean domain. I will write ED, Euclidean domain, full stop. Every ideal I of R is of the form I is equal to RA for some A belongs to R. Observe that let R be a Euclidean domain. Every ideal I of R is of the form I is equal to RA for some A belongs to R. So what I have to prove here? I is equal to RA. How can we prove these? Two sets are equal. Ideal means that is one set. Okay. So first we have to prove I is contained in RA. Later we have to prove RA is contained in I. If both sets are contained in one another, so we can say that two sets are equal. Okay. So for that now, first I will prove, suppose this I is equal to 0. Suppose this I is equal to 0. Then nothing to prove because we can choose this A as 0. Okay. So at that time we can take A as 0. So at that time I is equal to RA. If I is non-zero, so what we have to choose now? We have to choose one A in I, that A is non-zero such that D of A has a least value. That is very important here. Observe that I first consider I is non-zero. Then I will choose one element A in I, and that A is non-zero here such that I can say that I will assume here D of A has a least value. So D of A is less than any other integer valued functions. Okay. So now we shall show that I is equal to RA. To prove that now, clearly observe that I took A from I now. Okay. Already A is an element of I, and that is we took. Okay. And in RA, that A is again, A can be element, A is an element of RA. So A is an element of RA, and again that A is an element of I also. So from that, since A is an element of I, we can clearly say that RA is contained in I. Okay, that is the first one. Now we have to prove I is contained in RA. So how can we prove that one? One set is contained in another set. How can we prove? We have to choose one element from I. Later we have to prove that element is also belongs to RA. We have to prove. Okay. So now, if I will choose one element in I now, if B belongs to I, then by the condition 3 of the Euclidean domain definition, so what we can say that there exist two elements now. I will choose that as Q and R in R such that we can write that as B is equal to A into Q plus R. Then either R is equal to 0 or D of R is less than D of A. Okay. I will first choose one element from I, and at that time we can say that there exists Q and R in R such that B can be written as AQ plus R. This is from the third condition of the definition of Euclidean domain. Either R equal to 0 or D of R is less than D of A. Now they given that here B is equal to AQ plus R. So how can we write R now? R is equal to B minus AQ. I will say that now B minus AQ is an element of I because we took B from the I only, and minus A is already belongs to I. Q is an element of R. A is an element of I, Q is an element of R, and we know that I is an ideal. Okay, I is an ideal. So therefore the second condition for the definition of ideal, we can say that AQ is also belongs to I. As B and AQ as the element of I, their difference is also belongs to I now. So R belongs to I now. Now the choice of D of R is less than D of A is impossible. See here, by using the third condition of the definition of Euclidean domain, we can say this one, either R equal to 0 or D of R is less than D of A. But this D of R is less than D of A is not true. That is not possible, because we took at the beginning itself that D of A has a least value. So D of A is less than any other integer valued function. So D of R is less than D of A is not possible. So therefore we must have R is equal to 0. Okay. Therefore R is equal to 0. If I may substitute R is equal to 0 here, so what will I get? 0 is equal to B minus AQ, or otherwise that implies B is equal to A into Q. B is equal to A into Q. So Q is an element of R and A. So that's why I can say that is belongs to RA. Okay. Now what it implies? B is an element of RA. At the beginning I took B is an element of I. Now B is an element of RA. So that implies I is contained in RA. So I will consider this as equation number 2. So from 1 and 2 we can write I is equal to RA. So therefore R be a Euclidean domain in that every ideal I of R is of the form I is equal to RA for some A in Euclidean domain R. Okay, so that proves the proposition number 8. Let's prove one corollary related to this proposition number 8. Corollary. The statement of the corollary is every Euclidean domain has a unit element. Every Euclidean domain has a unit element we have to prove. Okay. To prove this one, first I will consider let R be an ideal in R. Okay. To prove this, I will first consider let R be an ideal in R. So then by using the previous proposition, we can say that R is every ideal in R is of the form I is equal to R into A. Now first I took R is an ideal in Euclidean domain. So at that time R is of the form now R is equal to R A. So now here A is an again element of R itself. So in particular what you can say that at that time A is equal to E into A. Observe that R is an ideal. This is of the form now R is equal to RA. A is also an element of R itself now. So in particular if A is any element of R, so at that time that we can write A is equal to E into A. For some E belongs to R we can write. Okay. Now what we have to prove? Every Euclidean domain has a unit element. So here now we have to prove this E is the unit element of R. We shall show that this E is the unit element of R. So to prove that I will consider one more element B in R. If B belongs to R, then B is an element of R, then B can be written as B is equal to some C into A I will write. Okay. Here C is an element of R again. Now we know that then we can write B into E is equal to E into B. We can write commutative property. Okay. B into E is equal to E into B, because here R is an Euclidean domain. To say that is a Euclidean domain, that has to be commutative. So B into E is equal to E into B, that is equal to E into B can be written as C into A. Again that is equal to E into C, associative property I will apply here, E into C into A. That is equal to, again I can write C E into A, commutative property for E and C here. That is equal to again associative property for ECA I will apply. So C into E into A. But E into A is equal to A itself. So that is equal to C into A. Observe that BE is equal to C into A. C into A can be written as B. So therefore B into E is equal to B. What it implies? E is the unit element of Euclidean domain R. So E is the unit element of Euclidean domain R. So therefore every Euclidean domain has a unit element. So that proves the corollary of the proposition number 8. Now let us move to the next proposition number 9. Proposition 9. The statement of the proposition is, let R be a Euclidean domain, R be a Euclidean domain, then any two integers a, any two elements of R, a and b, have a GCD. Have a GCD. Let R be a Euclidean domain, then any two elements a and b in R have a GCD. We have to prove. Okay. We shall prove this one. Proof. Here I will consider let I is equal to RA and J is equal to RB. I will consider. Let I is equal to RA and J is equal to RB. So that two are the ideals of Euclidean domain R. I will consider. Okay. Let I and J are the two ideals of Euclidean domain R. By using the previous proposition, the notations may be I is equal to RA and J is equal to RB. I will give. As I and J are ideals, we can say that I plus J is also an ideal of R. As I and J are ideals of R, we can say that I plus J is also an ideal of R, where R is a Euclidean domain. So again, by using the proposition number 8, we can say that I plus J can be denoted as some R into D, where D is an element of R. Okay, for some D belongs to R. Now my intention is to prove this D is the GCD of two elements A and B. Now I have to prove this D is the GCD of A and B. So again here first observe that clearly as I and J are the ideals and again I plus J is also an ideal. So from that we can say that now I is equal to RA is properly contained in I plus J. Okay. I plus J is RD. And again we can say that similarly J is equal to RB, that also properly contained in I plus J, that is equal to R into D. I is contained in I plus J as well as J is contained in I plus J. So, and again one more result is there. I will directly accept that result. If A and B are in R, then A divides B if and only if RB is properly contained in RA. Okay. A and B in R, if A divides B, if and only if RB is properly contained in RA. Previous what we have, we have RA is properly contained in RD and RB is properly contained in RD. So by using the previous result, what we can say that this implies D divides A and D divides B. Okay. D divides A and D divides B. Now again, I may choose again also. Now one more element is there. So this is the first condition for the GCD. Our intention is to prove D is the GCD of A and B. So now D divides A and D divides B. First condition is true. Second condition, if one more element is there that divides A and D dash divides B. So what it implies, again by using the previous result, we can say that, so that RD dash contains RA. That means RA is contained in RD dash. And again as D dash divides B, we can say that RD dash contains RB, or otherwise RB is contained in RD dash. So then what it implies, as RD dash contains both RA and RB, so we can say that RD dash contains RA plus RB. RA plus RB. So that is what I plus J. But I plus J is denoted as R into RD. Okay. So then RD dash contains RD. That is RD dash contains RD. So by the again previous result we can say that now D dash divides D. Observe that first condition for the GCD is true. D divides A and D divides B. If one more element D dash that divides A and B, then that D dash also divides the D. So therefore D is the GCD of A and B. So that is the proposition number 9. So proves the proposition number 9. That is, let R be a Euclidean domain. Then any two elements A and B have a GCD in R. Next, move to the corollary related to this proposition number 9. Corollary 1 here, first corollary. That is, if D is the GCD of A and B, then there exists lambda comma mu in R such that D is equal to lambda A plus mu B. Corollary related to the proposition number 9. If D is the GCD of A and B, then there exist two elements in R that are lambda and mu such that D can be written as lambda A plus mu B. We shall prove this corollary since RD can be written as, in the previous proposition only, I plus J, that is equal to RA plus RB, and D is an element of RD, is it? D is an element of RD, so what it implies? D is also belongs to RA plus RB, as RA plus RB is equal to RD. So now D can be written as now, that is, if D is an element of RA plus RB, so we can write D is equal to some lambda into A plus mu into B, where lambda and mu are elements of R. So that proves the corollary number 1 of the proposition number 9. See, next we shall see corollary 2, second corollary related to the proposition number 9, corollary number 2 here. That is, if A and B are relatively prime, if and only if lambda A plus mu B is equal to 1 for lambda and mu are elements of R. Okay, statement only here. If A and B are relatively prime means their GCD is equal to 1. If and only if lambda A plus mu into B is equal to 1. So in the previous corollary, lambda A plus mu B is equal to D, that D is the GCD of A and B. Here A and B are relatively prime, so D has to be is equal to 1. So that is the corollary number